So we've learned a little bit about engineering our features and creating a view for our data. Now we'll get into actually working with BigQuery ML to create a model and testing it. So the nice thing about BigQuery ML is it's a really easy way to create a machine learning model. It's just, as simple as writing some SQL. So if you've already done some SQL queries, it's not terribly complicated to build something that will train a model, and you can use that and not have to think about setting up any type of infrastructure or worrying about any type of APIs. You can just do it in a very straightforward fashion. You can create this model through easy SQL API, SQL statements, and you just use normal queries. So the BigQuery ML, it supports a lot of different model types. You can have linear regression for trying to predict, something on a particular continuous type of data. You can use logistic regression for classifying something. You can use clustering, k-means clustering. You can use a time series model. Boosted tree models, there's a lot of different kinds of models. And if you take a look at the slides in the video description, you can see a link to where you can find out about all the different models that are available for BigQuery ML. It's really easy to create. You just use a create model query and you just specify the model type, some of the options, which, there are many options. You don't have to use many of them. To get started, you really only need a few, and your data that you'll use to train your model. It automates the data splitting, it automates the training. You don't have to think about any of those things, and it happens reasonably quickly, at least for linear regression models, which you'll see in just a moment. So we can kind of get started with using something that looks like machine learning and has a reasonably good example once we get a little deeper into how to get the right data for this model. So the query is really simple. Create or replace model. You use your data set and then your model name. So you can make this up for the first time. Your data set you have to create, but you want to have a model name in mind. It can just be my model or something simple like that. The two options that you have to have are you have to have a model type, and there's a list of those. So that will be linked in the description for the slides as well. And then the input label columns, which is what you're trying to predict. So that's going to be the sort of your output here. And then you use your data. So your data is going to be some kind of query, whether that's querying a view or if that's querying some larger set of tables. And you can do joins there. You can do anything necessary to kind of build the output data you want. And then moving forward, if you want to test it, you just use this ml.predict. You give it your model, and then you give it some kind of query that's going to produce your input data. And from there, you can actually see what those predictions look like. And we'll go through an example for that as well. And then, if we want to create these, this is sort of like the output of what we're going to see in the next the next video. It's going to show how we create this view and how we're just kind of using some of the features that we've identified to build a training data set. And then we can train this using that view. Then once we've done that, we can test that as well. So these queries will be in the slides as well if you want to take a look at them, copy them, and use them for your own purposes. So let's get into a demo of how we can actually do this using BigQuery. Thank you for watching.